I'm Julian Santos.
I'm Bailey Smith.
And I'm Ian Long.
And this is why we believe the government should keep funding NASA.
We believe the 2016 presidential candidates should discuss the controversial topic of NASA's budget. While opposing viewpoints persist, one side arguing that NASA is an outdated Cold War strategy, and the other arguing that it is the future of humankind. NASA was formed in 1958 as a response to public concern following Soviet Russia's successful launch of Sputnik, the first artificial satellite symbolically made out of a hollowed-out nuclear warhead. NASA, eventually one of the United States' most effective Cold War tactics, began Project Gemini in 1961 in order to gather information about human space travel. This led to the successful Apollo program moon landings in 1969, arguably mankind's greatest achievement. Finally, on December 25, 1991, the Soviet Union collapsed, ending the Cold War, and with it, mankind's hopes for ever truly touching the cosmos.
Morning is Dan Leone of Space News. He's a staff writer. Good morning.
Morning, Pedro.
NASA, when it comes to its budget, where do we stand as far as approval from the House and the Senate?
Well, right now, the House and the Senate are sort of midway through the 2015 appropriations process. The full House has passed their version of NASA's 2015 budget. You're looking at about $17.9 billion with a B. And the Senate's at about the same place. The Senate Appropriations Committee got their bill to the floor, and we might see some action on that next week. But they're at about the same level with a few differences.
I had a chance to speak with a member of the International Space Station this week, Steve Swanson, a commander there. He talked about this big rocket, as you referred to it, gave his impressions of it.
Well, right now the science is pretty much separated between the U.S. side, or I should say U.S., which includes the European Space Agency, JAXA, Canada, all those, and then the Russian side. So the science is somewhat separated. However, we do require the Russians for us to get up here and to get back down right now. Hopefully in a few years we won't need that, but right now we need that to happen, and that is probably the biggest deal right there. And if we can't get up here, we can't do the science.
We interviewed a former NASA chemist about his thoughts on the current NASA budgeting situation. Here's what he had to say.
So we're here with Mr. Proft. I'm Julian. Mr. Proft, how do you feel about the NASA budget and if it's increasing or decreasing, and what you think it's better? Should it increase so the government fund them?
I'm all in favor of increasing. I love space exploration. I think it gives our nation vision, which is so important during times of, we're changing leadership, and you mentioned the election, and it's just great to have a unifying vision. Yes, I'm all for it. NASA, that's money well spent. And I heard a report or read a report just in the last few days about NASA where they're being tasked to do, a task that's very broad in the government. It involves Homeland Security, FEMA. It has something to do with the Earth, near Earth, like weather related. I can't recall exactly what it was, but it looks like they're being commissioned to do additional work, and I got the impression that money would follow. Go with that. So I'm all for NASA having a big budget.
As far as the need for these many spread out bases, did that change because we don't have a shuttle program anymore?
No, NASA's always had a national presence because that offered, politically people a way to see that the space program, which back in the Apollo era we were committing to very hard for reasons of national imperative, you needed to show everybody there's something in this for you. We can all do this and come together. So that's an artifact of the way that NASA was, and it's for the foreseeable future because it's probably politically impossible for one agency to just decide it's going to change how many field centers it has. That's the way it's likely to remain. SpaceX, they are doing something which hasn't been done much in this country. They are a vertically integrated rocket and spacecraft manufacturer. When NASA wants to build a rocket and spacecraft, they are pretty much horizontally integrated. They pull in their supplies from across the country and assemble it and put it on the launch pad in one particular place. Elon Musk showing off his latest spacecraft, which he hopes will be sending astronauts to the International Space Station. And he personally feels that we need to get millions of tons of cargo and hundreds of thousands of people on.
What we would like for the candidates of the 2016 election to speak about.
We would like to know the public and the 2016 presidential candidate's opinion on this controversial topic. Thank you.